right, made a divergence from the crop out camera. So they had this little um, algorithm here which adapts the distance from the center of the world. So that wasn't working for me. It was kind of a circular algorithm. I needed something that was more square-like. And so we got this boundary here. Oh, and this one's a little far. For some reason, okay, so if you, like, I guess push hard enough or something, it still goes past it. So I have to work on that. But just getting it to detect it feels great. Like, see how it's kind of springing back? So you can still force past it though. So I need to like create a hard cap there. See, it's really trying. It worked better yesterday, but yeah, we got this. Also got the cursor to float on the desk. The little glow thing, I think is, that's something to do with the bloom settings, but I think that'll improve with time. Okay, so what's next is working on selection of stuff, and so I got to figure out what to do with this. This needs to get moved. I don't know. Maybe I won't even use this. I'm not sure, like, what to do with this book thing. Um, so there's two directions to go in. One is to get the selection of things to be restored, or to get this overlay menu. I should probably do the overlay menu first because that'll lead to the interactions on the desk, and that would probably make more sense. So I think that's probably the smarter thing to go for. And then ultimately getting to the configurations on the desk will lead to customizing the swan colors, which is where I initially started with Unreal. So I wanted to make sure I could do the shader customization stuff. So let me see, did I? Oh, all right. So in the settings here, I must have disabled something. Yeah, I disabled this. So let's turn that back on. The screen edge move. Put that in. So the crop out one had this, but I created one called Calc Reverse Bounds. Learned a hard lesson about macros versus functions. So macros are kind of terrible. They don't offer the ability to use local variables. So like here I have inbounds and reverse direction that I want to output. And what this allows me to do is have some kind of clean, just a clean interface here. It's like, here's what's coming in, here's what's going out, and then I can mess around with the setting of those variables down here in a bit messier fashion, but it's like kind of contained over there, and this is all, I don't know, to me, this organization was really helpful inside of the function, but I could not do that in the macro, and I didn't delete it yet. I just wanted to save it. So I tried to do the same thing in the macro, and you can't declare local variables, and so you can do this like local temporary variable, but you have to then link it this way to get the same result. And this one actually isn't fully updated, but regardless, you can kind of see the difference there between this macro versus the function, and the function gives you so much more capabilities than the macro. And so I try to use macros over and over again because to me, it's like a private function. So you're supposed to use it to communicate that, hey, this thing is only ever meant to be called inside of this blueprint or inside of this class. But instead, what I'm going to do is stop using macros because they're creating issues for organization reasons. And there was also one more issue with them, and it is this inputs here. So you don't, by default, you don't get this little exec bar on a new macro, and so you kind of need it sometimes. And so you have to create this on your own. This execute. If you name it execute, so I've been naming it begin, then it gives it a name. I don't know. It's kind of funky to me. But I think, if you just use a function, then you get that behavior for free. So maybe macros are like more performant, or there may be some reason to use them. But right as of now, I'm pretty much going to write them off as not going to use them. And if I need a private or protected function, what I'm going to do is make it a function and then put it inside of the category of protected. No, what is it? Is this? No, that's not the right. It's insert. Yeah, here. I'm going to put it inside the category of protected, and then, I can still call it. It really, I probably should change it to protected as well. Like actually have it a real access modifier protected. But what does that even break anything? Let me just test this live real quick. Thought that maybe that didn't cause an issue, and I thought it did. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think I was like troubleshooting, and I turned it back to public because I was just trying to undo settings. So okay. Yeah. There's that. Oh, and what else did I just enable? So the click the mouse edge drag. Let me see. Yeah, so Now I'm using the mouse. So this is in Cropout as well, so I got that going. Also got the zoom installed, which I limited it. So you can kind of zoom in, and it has some kind of like curvature thing going on with, like it's not just zooming directly, it's also leaning. So I think it's messing with the spring arm here. Yeah. So I set a limit. I started adding bounds. I extended the controller here to have bounds. Where'd you go? Why can't I oh, you're in the top level. Okay. So we have bounds X and bounds Y, and so I'll probably clean this up a little bit to so we can now, what is that, bounds X maximum? Yeah, so where we can get, oh, not 40, whoops. So yeah, it's working. You kind of see it freaking out. Oh, this is a bad value. Here, we're just trying to keep it in the range. Yeah, so that feels pretty good. So yeah, the progress here is feeling good. I'm gonna move on to the menu part. So I probably will deal with, where'd you go? There's a UI, no, not that one. It's taking a second to load. Not this transition, which I suppose is still playing. I might have disabled that. Experiment developer. So the way the folders are structured, developers like prototype stuff that hasn't really felt official enough to like add in proper to the project folder. Okay, yeah. So this thing, I have this will be pretty quick to fill out, so I can fill out the rest of the buttons, and then I'll need to find a way to put like these submenus inside. And so started using a common, I think it's called Common UI, which allows some layering of stuff. So gonna have to learn that and then get that working. And I have an example of a shader working inside of this already with that like UI transition. So with the combination of the documentation and this with the little material shader thing, I should be able to create the effects that I got in my head here, which I thought it was in here, and this has like a im crop or something like that. Let's see, image. Yeah, so this im radial cut. So like we should be able to make our own custom materials on top of various images and get like neat little menu effects that aren't like sprite based. So fingers crossed that that's gonna work out nicely. So we'll see. Hopefully it's the same as WebGL or something similar.